Hey everybody, this is Kevin, and we're back with episode number 43, segment number 2 of Kevin's Korner, Real Estate from a Marketing Perspective. And I have with me Mr. Jonathan Lang from Texas Real Estate Inspection Services Company. Say hi, everybody.
Howdy. How are we doing, folks?
Howdy. He's not from the country. So Jonathan is one of my preferred vendor partners. He works with me on a lot of my events, my CE classes. He is a key sponsor, and he is 50% of the inspection companies that I refer agents to.
We appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I have to be politically correct. That's just the way it is. So,
that's all right.
There's
Everybody's got to make a living.
People watching me. So, Jonathan, tell everybody who you are and what your company does.
Well, Jonathan Lang, Texas Real Estate Inspection Services, as the name implies. We are inspectors. We're a multi-inspector firm. I have 2 other inspectors that work for me, directly representing Texas Real Estate Inspection Services. And we inspect all over Harris, the 5 surrounding counties. If you're willing to pay me to drive to San Antonio, Austin, or Dallas, I will drive up there and do an inspection for you.
Nice.
And but you know, it is going to cost some money to get that done. But
yeah, gas is
some
going
want
up again.
That to happen.
So yeah,
I have driven to Brenham. I've driven to San Antonio. Driven to Austin because clients that we helped here to purchase a home are transferring there, something like that, and they don't want anybody else to do it but me.
That's good. Client loyalty. Love that kind of thing.
It's a good thing.
So for the people that are watching this that may or may not know exactly what that means, that you inspect homes, go into just a few seconds of detail.
Sure.
Inspecting homes, what does that mean?
Well, under the Texas Real Estate Commission, a home inspection is a visual, non-invasive process to determine where defects reside within the structure. The age of equipment, is equipment functioning properly, things like this. And so it's our job to go through system by system, whether that's structural, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, appliance systems. Those are the 5 main ones. And then there are optional things like, whole house generators, septic systems, things of this nature that we go through, we touch it, we run it, we make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do, and then we write it up if it's not.
And what is the reason why someone would call you to do an inspection on their house?
Well, a house is the largest single investment most people will make in their lives,
right,
especially today. Mm-hmm. And so especially with the price of houses out there right now, people want to know what they're buying. Most people have no idea. I have a background in construction, family background, all of that kind of stuff. So I've got a little bit more knowledge than most everybody else would have. And they need to employ somebody like us to go in there, pick it apart, tell them what they need to be aware of, what they need to look out for, and whether they're making a good investment.
And you do this typically in the middle of or during a real estate transaction.
Correct.
So someone's selling a house or buying a house, that's when they typically would need an inspector.
Selling a house, buying a house, building a house, things like that. We do all of that.
You mentioned building a house. So tell everybody why it's important to have a brand new house inspected. Sure. One that's never been lived in and was just completed 5 minutes ago. Why? Because people ask me all the time, why do I have to get a new build inspected? It's a brand new house. Everything should be working great.
Certainly.
Why? So why?
Well, and what we recommend is get it inspected from day one. So when we're starting that build, they have just set the forms for the foundation. You want an inspector who knows what he's doing to come in there and take a look at what the engineer's intent was for that structure, and number 2, is the contractor, the makeup crew, whatever we're calling them today, are they adhering to that intent? If they're not, if beams aren't deep enough, say the soil composition of the area where this house is being built has been tested by a geotechnical firm, and they've determined that it's got, 2,500 pounds of compressive strength to it. So the engineer designs that structure for that specific compressive strength. And, beams 10 inches wide, 24 inches deep, need to have, tendons at this spacing minimum, need to have rebar in these areas. So we go through and check all of that and make sure that the contractor ticked all the boxes. If he didn't, we're going to call him out on it, and they're going to have to come back and redo it.
Do the contractors get upset with you guys?
They don't like to see us coming,
No?
so,
Yeah.
but that's not my
Right.
thing. I work for the buyer. I work
Right.
for the person who is laying their money down to buy that house, and that's what we do. And we do it all the time. I've just got a text message from a buyer who is building I forget who the builder was now, but anyway, up in the Cypress area, and we did a pre-pour inspection for him, and now we're going to do the pre-drywall, and then we will do the final when everything is complete.
So do you recommend just like a beginning, middle, and end kind of inspection? I mean, that's pretty much
Those
all
are the
you-
typical three.
Okay.
I've had clients where, like, I've got a friend of mine who's building a house over in the Long Point area, and they wanted me to be there to observe the placement of concrete. So I'll go there, I'll stand there, I will document what truck poured out where, how much water they had in the mix, how much water they added to the mix, what the compressive strength of the mix is supposed to be, all of that stuff, and we'll document it all. So if there's a problem in that area, then the homeowner can go back to that documentation and say, oh, this truck had this problem poured out in that area, and that's why we've got this issue.
What does compressive strength mean?
Well, concrete typically for your standard residential construction is going to be around 3,000 PSI. So it's the pounds per square inch that it can support when it's cured.
Oh, wow. Okay. So kind of like why when you pour a new driveway, it's got to be at least, I think, 4 inches thick. Otherwise, it will be able to
rebar
withstand.
in specific distances, things like that.
Okay. Otherwise, the vehicles will crush it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand. And you mentioned earlier that you operate basically all over the city of Houston, surrounding counties, and you'll go out of here in this area if you want. Are you licensed to do anything else?
Sure. Yeah, I do. There's no license requirement for it, but I do pool inspections.
Okay.
So that's a part of our package. We are licensed under the Texas Department of Agriculture to do wood destroying insect inspections. So I actually have a commercial applicator's
Termites?
license. Say again?
Termites?
Termites, powder post beetles, carpenter ants, carpenter bees, things like that. So
Gotta go home and check my house.
So yeah, it's my goal in starting my company was that people have always said you're like Cliff Clavin, you know everything. And so my goal was to,
If you're not old enough, that's from
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Best show ever.
Right. So, our goal has been able to provide bumper to bumper service for our client. So we do wood destroying insects, we do pools, we do home inspections. I'm a licensed mold assessment consultant.
That's important here in our climate.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have been doing that for 18 years now.
Really?
We offer everything. I've had clients that want the full boat on a house. They want to be, it's got a pool. They need to have that inspected. I think it's got mold in it, so I need you to test for mold. Everything else, soup to nuts, we cover it.
And how do you, not that you can go into your pricing structure or anything, but how do you charge for services like this?
It's usually your typical most everything is going to be based on the square footage,
Size of the house.
except for pools, things like that. We don't base that on square footage. That's just a flat rate for that. For wood
No
destroying
matter
insects,
how big the pool is?
And pool's only so big. I mean, if we're talking an Olympic-sized pool, then maybe we need to have a conversation. But if it's in that size of a house anyway, I'm probably already charging enough for the rest of it.
Right.
We're not going to have to worry about it. So.
If NASA calls, you're going to be going cha-ching.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. So there's pools are, if it is a large house, in a high-end neighborhood, then yeah, they're going to have grottos, they're going to have things like that. So yeah, there may be an additional fee for that, but for the most part, it's going to be a flat fee. Same thing with wood destroying insects. It's some of it's based on the size of the house, because time is money. Mm-hmm. The more time I've got to spend, it's going to cost me to be there, so I need to be reimbursed.
Right.
So yeah, we're going to base most everything is based on the size of something. But.
And you work with real estate agents and
Mm-hmm.
brokers, title companies.
Right.
Can just normal Joe Blow off the street call you and hire you too?
We have a website.
Okay.
TexasRealestateInspections.com, and they can go there and fill out the contact form, and I will call them, and we will set up whatever they need to have done.
Okay. All right. What are some of the things that you do to market your business and to promote your services?
Sure, we do. Obviously, the website. That's always used to. That was the one thing that you had to do was your website. So I've got that. I do. I belong to networking groups. Jersey Village Professional Networking Group up in Jersey Village. A friend of mine runs it. It's a non-classified type of networking group, so you can have multiple inspectors in there, things like this. It's not not single use things.
It's not like a
it's an open forum.
Yeah. What's the other one?
BNI.
BNI. It's not like BNI.
I belong to BNI as well.
Yeah.
Been in BNI, the Sci-Fair Business Partners chapter, for 18 years.
Really?
And yeah. And
what about the chamber or anything like that?
Chamber, I belong to the Sci-Fair Chamber of Commerce, things like that. And we do, the constant contact, all that kind of stuff, the direct mail marketing,
CRM
that kind of thing.
and drip campaigns,
Yep.
and then you work a lot with real estate agents and
Work a lot with real estate
supporting and sponsoring CE classes,
Right.
and events and things.
And that's part of the benefit of having done this for 19 years. When I was just starting out, it was a lot more important to get out there and press flesh and, do the song and dance and all that stuff. As we have built the business and become well known in the community, that's not it. While it's still very important, it's not at the top of the list.
It's not an issue
longer.
anymore. It's not a top priority.
We have a lot of
See,
referrals.
Salita, when you build your brand and your company name, this is what happens.
Right.
She's like, okay, Kevin, put me on the calendar. I will do this. Okay. But that's very, very admirable. And congratulations on being around for that long.
Thanks.
I don't know too many other companies that have been around that long in the real estate industry. And, it's in 18 years, you've probably seen a lot.
Yeah. There have been a lot of people that have tried to make me stop doing this. But
Really?
but they haven't succeeded. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, we've seen a lot. 19 years, there's been a lot of interesting markets. This one that we're currently in probably has to be one of the most interesting. I've had more buyers call me up lately that the seller has backed out of the deal.
Yeah.
Which never happens.
Yeah, because they're trying to sell their house. Yeah.
Who's going to back out of the selling your house? But it's happening. So it's a very interesting market right now.
Yeah, we've late November, December, January. We were all looking around going,
Yeah.
what we got to look for another job.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, late January, February, and now March, we're blowing and going right now. We're busy.
It's crazy.
It's just, it's not up and down. It's either up or down. There's no in between.
There's no in between. There's no level.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how in November you guys were feeling it.
Yeah.
We felt it in August. And, when those rates first ticked up, it just died.
People stop by.
It was like, and then all of a sudden everybody figured out, well, even though they're high, I've still got to buy a house. So, let's go ahead and bite the bullet and get this thing done, and we'll refi later on.
Yeah, marry the house. What do they say? Marry to the house and date the rate.
Right.
Is that what they say?
Exactly.
Because you can get into your home of your dreams and refinance later.
Yeah.
Which I've done a couple of times on my house. So, but it's important. So tell everybody what your website address is.
Texas Real Estate Inspections. Now you're going to give me TexasRealEstateInspections.com.
I didn't know, and he doesn't know either. Say that again.
TexasRealEstateInspections.com.
Okay, TexasRealEstateInspections.com.
Yep.
What is one thing about your business that anybody that might need inspection services needs to know about you and your services?
Well, I think the biggest thing is experience. Myself and my entire team, minimum on the team has 4 years of experience. Me with my 19 years, and we can cover anything that's needed. I don't care how big a house it is. I did a 13,000 square foot house not too long ago.
Wow.
Did a 937 square foot house, which should have taken about an hour and a half to finish the inspection. It took my guy 3.5 hours to finish it because it was that
problems.
bad.
Really? Yeah.
It was there was a lot going on in that little bitty house.
And do you provide how quickly do you provide the report, and how does a client get the report?
Okay. Well, we use a software called Home Gauge, and I've been using it for 18 years now. And everything is done via email. There's a web portal that the client will get a login ID and password for, and I send them an email, says your report is ready to be viewed, and they go in there and it's there, and it'll be there for, I believe it stays on that server for 5 years. So if they sell the house in 3 years, they need to disclose the fact that they had it inspected back, today. Then they can go back to that and pull their original report down, attach it to their.
If it's over 5 years, do you still have access to get the reports?
I have.
Do you have hard copies and everything on your?
I have all the hard data on my.
And then, if you said it, I apologize. But how quickly after the inspection is completed do they get it?
No problem. We typically have the report out that same night.
Okay, awesome. So there's no waiting. So
yeah,
if you're in a hurry, not a problem at all.
No.
Are you on social media?
We're on social media. We have an Instagram account, a Facebook account, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I'm not the. I could do better.
Hey,
so,
as long as you're being honest.
I'm not the social media butterfly that everybody else is. I actually need to find somebody I can pay to do that. So
you don't. If you're looking for a job, you don't post 3 times a day every day, do you?
No, I don't. Unfortunately,
shame on you.
When I'm in an attic and my hands are in a service panel or something like that, I don't have time to post.
If it was me and I was in the attic in a service panel, I'd be like, "This is cool. Check it out where I'm at today." Boom, post. Okay, now get back to work.
Yeah. I have found things that I have to take a picture of because no one will believe that was here.
That's another podcast.
That's another podcast, but yeah.
So, website, social media. Tell them how to get hold of you.
Our website, TexasRealEstateInspections.com, is one way to do it. 281-300-9276 is the main number. Or I can be reached at inspector@texasinspections.net.
Okay. Awesome. So if you guys are real estate agents or you're seeing this podcast and you're about ready to buy or sell a house and you need an inspection company, Jonathan can help you out. Texas Real Estate Inspection Services, they're great guys. Anybody and everybody that I've ever referred to them have come back with nothing but good things to say. So you're making clients happy, you're making agents happy, and you're getting the inspection services done on time and the right way. So
sure.
You're an asset to the real estate community, and thank you for 19 years of service.
It's been my pleasure.
In the inspection services, fun. Not in the military. Give me your phone number one more time.
281-300-9276.
All right, guys. This is Jonanthan Lang from Texas Real Estate Inspection Services. That was Salita Patterson from Wazell Properties. Appreciate you guys tuning in to episode number 43. Again, if you watch this podcast and you're a real estate agent or a vendor that operates in Fort Bend County and you'd like to be on the podcast, give me a call, 832-654-0527. Or you can email me at kevin.davidson@stewart.com, and I'll put you on the calendar. And I always have to thank my staff and team, Jennifer Smitis, the area vice president, Caitlin Cornick, Devin, Wendy Santana, Adriana Ozalte, and the support staff at each one of my offices. And again, if you're not using Stewart Title for title, shame on you. This has been on episode number 43 of Kevin's Corner, Real Estate from a Marketing Perspective. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.